Welcome back to my daily Tezo briefing. I hope everyone's doing well this Sakar and enjoying your Gorshe. For now, let us begin our briefing session for the evening, chaired by Honorable Deputy Speaker Droltsog Tenghala. The 7th day of the 17th Tibetan Parliament in Exile's 8th session, the general session, began at 9:30 this morning with the continuation of deliberation by about 25 members of the Parliament on the Department of Information and International Relations. That's Chiti Nihung's undertaking from the previous sitting. The questions from the members of the House ranged from concerns over the CCP political move of enabling Sinicization by replacing Tibet with Xizang officially and on every propaganda channel. The prevailing tactic of the CCP has erupted in recent news due to two French museums displaying propaganda event with such name change. So Chiti Nihung was requested to counter such propaganda with a right kind of strategy. There were queries in regards to the Voluntary Tibet Advocacy Group, VTAG, and on the jointly organized Geneva Forum of Chiti Nihung and the Tibet Bureau of Geneva. There were questions tabled regarding the Blue Book of the Solidarity for Tibet supporters and the Certificate of Identity of the Tibetan refugees in India. Then there were deliberations on recognizing China's policy of dividing the Tibetan community and demobilizing the Tibet movement. There were several MPs who raised on the importance of Tibet advocacy in India, which also serves the national interest of India. Then on the need of researchers in various languages, including Hindi at Tibet Policy Institute. There were queries on Tibet support groups across the world, particularly in India. Then on outlining a clear job description with key responsibilities and tasks of the Tibet coordinators in various offices of Tibet, in specific to the US, was mentioned. Then commenting the various collective action campaigns by Tibetans of different backgrounds and political affiliations when Chinese officials visit democratic nations across the world. Many more matters. So Kalu Nonzudromala provided all the due responses to the queries, doubts and recommendations tabled to the department. Then chaired by Honorable Speaker Khyentse Tempela, as per the revised list of business, the incumbent Kalu of Department of Health has Chiti Nihung presented the department's concise annual 2023-2024 report, followed by the presentation of Standing Committee's review of the detailed annual 2023-2024 report of the Department of Health. After providing the answers to the review report, the general deliberation session of the House began. The concerns and questions from the members of the House included public healthcare schemes of the Department of Health. There were queries on mental health related projects under the department, questions on rehabilitation programs of substance abuse patients in India, then seeking update on Tibetan Medicare system project, then on strengthening the reproductive, menstrual and health and hygiene programs, focusing on women and many health related issues. After completion of the individual departmental deliberation, the session then moved to the legislative procedures first reading. Sikupemba proposed two amendments on the Article 37, Clause 1 that is on the composition of the Tibetan Parliament, and the Article 63, Clause 2, that's on the criteria of the Chief Tibetan Justice Commissioner of the Tibetan Supreme Justice Commission, of the Charter of Tibetans in Exile. Both these proposed amendments proceeded to the second reading with majority vote, followed by presentation of the report by the Committee of Review of the Rules and Regulation of the Parliamentary Procedure and Conduct of the Business of Tibetan Parliament in Exile, concerning the removal of dignitaries of the CTA. The first reading of the proposed amendments by the committee completed with a condition that it might be directed to another committee or the Parliamentary Standing Committee for a further review of the proposed report. So we'll know the decision of honorable speakers in tomorrow's list of business. Then furthermore, amendments on the rules and regulation on salaries, honorarium, and other allowances and entitlements of the CTA dignitaries was proposed, which too passed for the second reading. For your information, the first reading constitutes of clause by clause or article by article questions by Chitu on the principle of the amendment proposal itself, directed towards the committee members as decided by Honorable Speaker. The first reading debate is looked upon as a prelude to sending the proposal for detailed deliberation and a response. Then the second reading, which will take place tomorrow, heads, you must check the live, is important because it is then when the members divulge in an in-depth deliberation and private members' amendments proposals for the House to consider. The House decide whether a particular amendment proposal is passed or rejected entirely on the second space. Then on the third reading, it refers to a simple formality, a reading on the motion that the bill or the proposal as amended be passed. This is also to inform you that an amendment on Charter of the Tibetans in Exile requires a majority of 2/3 of the members of the House, whereas the rules and regulations require a majority of the 2/3 of the total membership of the House present and voting. After the amended proposal have been finally passed by the House of the Parliament, it is then submitted to Honorable Sikyong for his or her assent. So after the bill has received the assent, it then finally becomes the law or the rules and regulation. This is a gist of how the amendments happen, about how the regulation happens, rules and regulation amendment happens in the Tibetan Parliament. So I recommend that you do check tomorrow's session, because it will be the last day when we will have a number of legislative procedures happening. We'll have various discussion apart from the solidarity resolution on solidarity with Tibetans inside Tibet. That'll also happen tomorrow. So this is it for today. Just